So analogously, we can now use the same model here, the same given information, to derive what is called producer surplus. Okay? So again, suppose we have a fixed market price P bar, all right? And we also have a corresponding unit price X bar, all right, for some commodity, okay? And this is being made available in the market by the suppliers. So the suppliers who would be willing to make the commodity available at a lower price, so below P bar, anywhere in here, all right, would stand to gain from the fact that the market price is set higher at P bar, at this equilibrium point. The difference between what the suppliers actually receive, okay, which is this, all right up here, P bar, okay, this is what they're actually receiving, and what they would be willing to receive, well, that's based on our supply curve. So that's what they, that's right here, this area right there below that blue bar, or below the blue curve, excuse me, okay? So the difference between what the suppliers actually receive and what they'd be willing to receive, okay, is called producer surplus, this shaded blue region right here, okay? So let's see if we can, based on that, come up with another model to represent producer surplus. Here we go. Here's our model. Producer surplus is going to be equal to that rectangular area, okay? Right here, this area right there. It's going to be equal to that area, minus what? The definite integral from 0 to x bar of the supply curve. All right, so again, that's right here. From 0 to x bar, all right, looking at the definite integral of this function, which is our supply curves. That's going to give us this area. So would you agree that the difference between those two things, the area of this rectangle minus the area of this shaded region, would give us the blue region, which is producer surplus, which is what? It's, again, I'll say it again, the difference between what the suppliers actually receive and what they would be willing to receive. That's producer surplus. All right. Let's look at an example. Okay, example 2. And this will be our last example, not only for section 11.7, but for the entire chapter, all right? Before we move on to multivariable calculus. And we will not move on to multivariable calculus until after your Easter break, okay? So let's do this. The supplier of a portable hairdryer will make X 100 units. Let's make sure we highlight that. I dropped my pen. Jeez. Okay, so X is in terms of 100 units of hairdryers available in the market when the unit price is this. P equals radical 36 plus 1.8x. Again, this is really telling us what? This is our supply model. Okay, so S of X. All right, so let's see. Determine the producer surplus if the market price is set at $9 per unit. So what this is telling us is P bar is equal to 9. And here again, we have to determine what X bar is equal to. All right, so the process is basically the same. It's just a different function. All right, let's see how we do. We're going to let P be equal to 9. And we are going to solve this thing for X. All right. So first move is to do what? Square both sides. Very good. I heard some of you say that. That's awesome. So we get what? 81. And then that's going to be equal to what? 3, 6 plus 1.8x. And this time we would subtract 36 from both sides. So what's that? 81 minus 36, that's 45. So now we have 45 equaling 1.8x. And then we would divide both sides by the 1.8. And so we'd ultimately get this. We'd get x equaling 25, right? Now, we only have one possible x value, so that is our x bar in this particular case. All right? So we have everything we need. Let's go ahead and set up our model, our producer surplus model based on our information in front of us. So producer surplus is equal to what? First, it's going to be the area of that rectangle, right? We just talked about that. So it's going to be 9 times 25. And now minus what? The area of the area below the curve of the supply function. So that's going to be what? The definite integral from 0 to x bar. It's always 0 to x bar. So this is going to be 25. And then what's our model? This is our model. And we could use substitution. We could use U substitution to figure this out, but I'm not going to make you do that for these application problems. So if you're asked to determine producer surplus or consumer surplus, you can show the work just like I'm doing so, and you may use your calculator to come up with this result. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right. So we do 9 times 25 minus what? Hit the math button and then go down to your F and INT right there. Okay. And let's put in our limits of integration. So 0. And then what do we do? Right arrow, 25, right arrow. And let's do this. Square root of what? 36 plus 1.8x. We are integrating this with respect to x. All you have to do now is hit the enter button and we get 35. So let's go ahead and write 35 on our paper. All right, I've written 35 down on my paper, but I remember this. Okay, so x is in terms of hundreds of units, which means our producer surplus is equal to what? Well, take this number, multiply it by 100, and you get $3,500. So what is this again? This is the difference between what the suppliers actually receive and what they would have been willing to receive. Producer surplus. Hope you're staying well. Until next time, we'll see you later.